Vienna in October smelled of rain and roasted chestnuts. Phyllis walked along the cobbled street toward the gallery where she worked, camera slung across her shoulder. Her fingers were cold, her heart even colder. It had been 6 months since her last real connection with anyone. Her photography had become clinical, precise, technically beautiful, but lifeless. People praised her compositions, but she knew the truth. She'd forgotten how to feel. That night, the gallery hosted an opening for a visiting artist from New York. Phyllis expected another abstract ego in leather shoes and sunglasses. Instead, she found a quiet man standing in the corner, sketching something in a tiny notebook. He was taller than most, curly hair, tired eyes. He didn't smile at the crowd or try to impress anyone. She wandered past him once. Then again. On the third pass, he looked up. "You walk like you're late for something you don't want to go to," he said. She blinked. "And you talk like someone who's been alone too long." He smiled. "I'm no Elise." They shook hands. Something sparked. Over the following weeks, Vienna transformed under the early snow. Elise and Noah began to orbit each other. She'd find him sketching in the gallery's back room, curled up in a coat that had seen better winters. He'd appear near her studio with coffee and shy questions. Their connection deepened over slow walks along the Danube and hours spent in old bookstores, leafing through forgotten poetry. One evening, they found themselves trapped by a sudden snowstorm, tucked into a booth of a half-closed cafe. "You never talk about home," Phyllis said softly. Noah looked down at his coffee. "There's nothing to say. I left New York because I was drowning. I thought new cities meant new selves. Turns out, I brought all my mess with me." She nodded. "We all do." He reached across the table, gently brushing her knuckles. "But you make it quieter." They spent Christmas together. Noah cooked badly. Phyllis brought candles and wine. They didn't exchange gifts, just stories. For the first time in years, Phyllis allowed herself to be vulnerable. She told him about her father's disappearance when she was 14. The way her mother folded into silence. How she used photography to prove the world was still full of beauty, even when her own felt broken. Noah told her about the brother he never knew, the one who died at birth, and how his family never recovered. He spoke of nights filled with panic attacks, of art as survival. They became each other's still point in a spinning world. But love, even at its brightest, casts long shadows. In February, the gallery director pulled Elise aside. "Noah's visa ends in April," he said. "He didn't tell you." Phyllis confronted Noah that night. "I was going to," he said. "But every time I look at you, I forget time exists." She stood in the center of his small flat, arms crossed. "What are you going to do?" He was silent. "You could stay. Apply for an extension. Marry me." His eyes widened. "Are you serious? Do I look like I joke about immigration?" He laughed once, not out of humor, but disbelief. "Elise, I love you. But I don't want to trap you into something just to survive. What if I want to be trapped with you?" He shook his head. "That's not love. That's fear." They argued for hours. Then days. By mid-March, they weren't speaking. On the morning of his departure, Phyllis stood in front of Noah's building. She had written the letter. 3 pages. Folded perfectly. She stood for 15 minutes. Then she turned and walked away. Noah watched her from the window, heart in his throat. The plane took off into a storm. Phyllis cried for the first time in years. 2 years passed. Phyllis published a book of photographs, Stillness. It received critical acclaim. She smiled at interviews, but her voice always trembled when asked about the recurrent subject: empty benches, doorways, chairs for two, always with one missing. Noah moved to Montreal, then Lisbon, then back to New York. He created murals that vibrated with color and pain. Critics called his work ferociously human. He didn't feel human at all. He dated, briefly. She did too. But every lover felt like a light. They both carried ghosts. On a gray afternoon, Noah visited a small gallery in Soho. The new exhibit, Stillness by Elise Fayler. He stopped breathing when he saw her face, captured in a mirror, soft and vulnerable, lips slightly parted, eyes lost in something far away. He left the gallery and threw up in the alley. He had to see her again. Billy stood in her gallery in Vienna, arranging frames, when she heard the door open. "No interviews, thank you," she said without looking. "I'm not press." She turned. "Noah." She froze. Dropped a frame. "I'm sorry," he said immediately, stepping forward. She held up a hand. "Don't." He stopped. His face looked older, sharper, but the eyes were the same. "I saw your exhibit. In New York. So you thought you'd show up and what? Rewrite the ending?" "No," he said quietly. "Just ask for a chance to start a new chapter." She stared at him for a long time. "I'm not the same girl," she said. "Good," he replied. "I'm not the same boy." Their reconciliation wasn't instant. It came in layers. First, awkward coffees. Then cautious laughter. Then old jokes returned like warm coats from winter storage. They spoke about the past, not to rewrite it, but to understand it. Noah explained the depression that ate at him like acid, how he thought leaving was mercy. Billy spoke of the hollowness, the way she filled it with achievements no one saw. One night, they shared the bench beside the river where they'd once kissed. "I'm scared," she admitted. "What if we break again?" He took her hand. "Then we try again. Until we don't break." 3 years later, their lives looked nothing like before. They shared a flat with sunlit windows and too many books. Elise's photographs grew warmer, not less brilliant, just fuller. Noah painted with softer edges, less fire, more grace. They argued sometimes. He still forgot birthdays. She still micromanaged. But they had learned how to apologize, how to wait, how to ask, "What do you need?" instead of "Why aren't you enough?" At their wedding, Billy read a poem Noah wrote when he thought she'd never come back. "I loved you from across oceans, through seasons I never named. But I learned that loving means staying. So here I am, home, not because I arrived, but because I finally stopped running." They still wandered, still worked, still created. But every morning, they woke up beside each other, two people who had shattered, rebuilt, and chosen love with eyes open. Forever wasn't a promise they made. It was a choice they made daily. And in the quiet of their kitchen, as the city stirred beyond the windows, Noah would smile at Elise over burnt toast, and she would laugh like someone who finally remembered how. Because real love isn't about never falling apart. It's about becoming someone worth returning to, again and again.